I see this comment, take these vaxes off the market, this is the most stressful thing. What about everything is going in God's time, not your time? There's always a reason they're here and it has to do with waking everyone else up. Same as the negative media. This is duality, you get a choice where you want to focus your attention right now. Do you want to spend time fearing what they do or supporting what we do? Do you want more fear or higher light? Your choice. Or have you heard, it's supposed to rain today? Isn't that terrible? Now what are we going to do? Really? The weather changes and you're in a quandary? Really? My rent just went up by $25. That sucks, man. Well, you could be grateful you have a place to rent and the money to pay for it. Start with that. My neighbors just came home from their 2-week vacation and all their problems came back along with them. I was just thinking how relaxing it was lately and frankly I was even getting bored. Now my landlord has come by and looked at the mess their yard is in and is thinking of approaching them and asking them to clean it up because he's trying to rent the back apartment again. If he does that, that'll spark off a whole other load of angst from my neighbor because he's so worried about what other people think of him. I was telling my super about the ghosts I've seen around here and using the spirit box to talk to them and he almost had a meltdown. His fear was so palpable I could feel it. I'm sure now I'm branded as an occultist or at least a witch with him. I find many low-consciousness religious people tend to explain everything they don't understand as the devil. As if they're the prototype for the perfect human. If you're not like me, you must be wrong. People are people. They have their own take on things. I don't like being called a witch or the devil's handiwork, I don't like that judgment, but I know why he says these things. If you keep fearing things you don't understand, however, you'll never learn. And we have thought ourselves so above the rest of the galaxy that we're the only rock with life on it. Isn't that funny? We're a ball of fear. That's what this planet is. I don't care if you think it's flat, a vortex, there are continents we don't know about, round, or a tetrahedron. I don't care about the shape of it. But whatever shape it is, it's full of our fear and the negative energy produced as a result of our fearful thoughts. One thing I don't do is worry about the shape of the planet. I know what the shape of the planet is because Evo has told me, but I don't spend my time worrying about things that don't matter. You're here. That's what matters. Last night I woke up at 1 a.m. this time to see a flat round swirling vortex above my bed. This time when I went to zap it with white light I saw something come out of it, like a little point of energy that was directed at me. I can imagine I'm being blasted with this while I'm sleeping and that's what wakes me up. I asked Athena for backup but basically I dismantled this thing with my own light. Okay, that matters. Why does that matter? Because in my experience with these dark swirling dervishes, I can learn something and pass it on to you guys. It hit me yesterday as I was driving, because like the rest of us I don't drive entirely consciously, it's so automatic that I do it, so often random thoughts can filter through from higher dimensions. This random thought was, the point of living is not how you live but what's in your mind. How you think is the entire point of life. Because your thoughts create your reality. I figure there's a couple techniques people can use to deal with negative fear-based thoughts right now. Or there is a continuum. You can be entirely fearful, submerged in the mire of your own thoughts. That's where I was years ago. The next step is when you have a swampy thought, you refute it with an argument. I find fearful thoughts are unusually emotionally charged and that's one thing you have to watch out for if you're trying to pull the weeds from your mind, emotionally charged thoughts. God. This world sucks right now. Take it and look at the emotional charge and then remove that charge and think of the world logically. Right now, this world is going through its shadow, so of course it's going to be in a state. We have to convert our reality from an evil, toxic third-dimensional reality to a beautiful, abundant, peaceful fifth-dimensional reality. We're staring nuclear war in the face yet again. Why? Because they say history repeats itself. Yes, it does. Why? Because of universal law. In the same way a person's problems keep resurfacing until they resolve them with love, this world will keep experiencing the same experiences until we can unite in love and move past them. Now, doesn't that make you feel better? Argue with the negative thought. What have you learned through people like Evo about the truth of reality? Eventually you get to the point, once you keep working at increasing your vibration, that you naturally think positively. Adama, this is switching from the negative to the positive polarity, Sharon. Me, hi Adama. It is, and it's not done in one fell swoop as so many would want. It's done in stages. I know because I've been doing it. Adama, so many people believe that becoming spiritual is a question of always having a good mindset, but that's not true. Spiritual people have some of the worst extremes simply because they have so much transformation to do. Me, at least on outer earth. Adama, yes, we don't tend to have those large swaths of transformation like you do on the surface. Ours is more of a consistent, pleasant pace. Me, lol, I haven't seen you on the surface lately either. Adama, I do speak to surface people. But they're generally of a more positive frame of mind. Me, I just thought of something else too. There are reasons that people become irritated on earth, and although the irritation isn't valid, the response is. Everyone here is trying to embody their higher self. Whether they're a novice or whether they're a graduate, they're trying to embody their higher self and to hold that vibration. Whether they realize it or not. There are things I find in trying to do this that I become angry about, and some of those things are injustice to myself or others, especially children. I figure adults are able-minded enough to work through their issues with each other, but children need an adult to stand with them and to protect them against injustices. Months ago, I became irate with a neighbor who had asked the boy next door to stock her bird feeder. She had offered the boy $10 a week, but then started paying him $5 until such time she wasn't paying him at all. But he was still doing the work and complaining to me about it. I went with him to her house, and when I was confronted with her lies, I lost it. She was clearly ripping him off and his parents weren't supporting him, so I did. Suffice it to say, she avoids me now, but she's not someone I want to keep company with anyway. It's one thing to rip off an adult, but a kid. Wow. Adama, perhaps you could have found a way to address her more pleasantly. That is, if you value your relationship with her, and even if you don't, she's still a part of God. Me, that's true. But something got triggered in me, and I know that that's not her fault. My triggers are mine to deal with, and yes, it probably has to do with feeling ripped off by my own parents, who I became very angry with. I have to be careful to stay out of the past and understand that becoming angry when someone treats me or someone else like my parents did only connects me to my past. It's about learning to deal with it differently this time. Personal growth. Spiritual growth. Adama, and unity consciousness. She's part of the one too. Me, I know. But so is this kid. Adama, but how is your life in general as opposed to when you were a child? Me, oh, much better. Adama, how is your response when you're angered? Me, much better. I'm actually able to verbalize it rather than go apeshit on most occasions anyway. Adama, these are the things people must look at in order to understand the progress they've made in life. Your system of arguing with negative thoughts is a good one. That way they don't take root in your psyche, and if they have taken root, then you uproot them this way and replace them with more positive thoughts. Mastery of your mind isn't always an onerous task. Techniques can be quite simple, like yours. You see, Sharon, it's about balance. I just showed you how to look at the weather today with more balance. Me, ah. There goes my prosperity symbol. A green Kia Soul. Adama, you have prosperity symbols? Me, I said to God that if he ever made me rich, I'd buy my sister a green Kia Soul because she likes that car. So I forgot about it, and not 5 minutes after I said it, I saw 2 green Kia Souls driving behind me in the rear view mirror. 2, not only 1, but 2 of them. It sent shivers up my spine. I've had a video out too where Saint Germain talks about the secret language of life, and this is sure one message I got. Adama, smiling, that's interesting. Yes, communication is life, and if you can't communicate then you can't really live. Light is something that's communicated, and of course light is information. So how do you communicate? Verbally. Telepathically and through symbols, and this car was one such symbol that you and God had agreed to communicate a message to each other with. Me, I like colors too. Adama, yes. Now as for balance. Looking at the weather today with more balance. You can say it's overcast and grayish out, and it is. You had a lot of hot weather and then storms last night which brought the temperature down. So you can say it's not hot and sunny, but it's cooler today, which is more suitable for going outdoors. People always tend to see things as either positive or negative. What about seeing both sides? For those who complain a lot, what about seeing the positive side of what you're complaining about? Your ex left you. Okay, now you don't have him around to mow the lawn, but you do have more money because he spent it all gambling. Now you believe that all you have is a chore to do every week, but yes, you also have more money to pay a teenager $30 to mow the lawn for you. You all have the habit of doing this, only seeing one side of the situation. Look at both sides. Your car has broken down, but now you have an excuse for not going to the meeting you wanted to skip tonight. You have new neighbors who have moved in, and yes, they cut down the raspberry bush that Sharon was eating from, but perhaps they're good neighbors who will bring the neighborhood up a notch. Me, lol, we could use some. Adama, you think your neighborhood is low class, but then your rent is cheap. There are always two sides, Sharon. Your rent is cheap so you can continue to do this service for free or to offer discounts on your books. There are always two sides, people. Always. There's a positive and a negative. So many of you focus on only the negative. Well, then that's where your life stays, in that polarity, because it's your mind that regulates your life. Me, yes. Adama, so that's today's lesson, Sharon. We'll speak again. Me, thank you, Adama. Adama, with love and gratefulness for the opportunity to serve.